Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to take a look at Satellite by the Dave Matthews Band. So we're in standard tuning here. We've got a couple of licks that are going to tie your fingers into knots and a couple of interesting chord forms as well. So 3 guitar parts total, so it's not going to take very long to get through. So let's take a look at this opening part that I was just playing here. It's going to require a big stretch here. Now he plays it with all downstrokes. So that kind of solves what you can do with the right hand. So that's pretty simple. So let's just concentrate on the left hand here. We're going to start here with this main riff. All downstrokes on this main riff, that is. So we're going to have 4th fret on the low E, 6 on the A, and then 8 on the D string. Now you're going to lay your palm slightly on the strings right where they meet the bridge. That's what gives that kind of muted sound that kind of pops the notes out a little bit. All right, so that's where that big stretch is at. You're gonna have to, you don't have to play them all at the same time yet, but you can really kind of get the whole shape in your hand, and it makes it easier just to then pick across it. So we have, all right, now from there, we're gonna move over to the 5th string, the 4th fret on the A, and then the 6th fret on the D. So we have this. All right, now we're going to reach over with our little finger and grab the 8th fret on the low E string and then the 5th fret on the D. So you had to skip a string there with the picking. So we have this. All right. It's a good little independence exercise for the fingers here. Then we're going to have the 6th fret on the low E and then the 8th fret on the A string. So we have that. Let's add those 2 notes to it. All right, 3 more notes to go. We're going to have 4th fret on the A and that 6th on the D again. And then you're going to end it with that 8th fret on the low E again. Big stretch down there. So real slow, we'll go through the whole thing. All right, now as he goes through there, he has a little stopping point. And that one is where he stops there is after you play the 8th fret over to the 5th fret, after you do that little string skip, that's where he stops and then starts over. So on the 4th time through, he just stops on that note. All right, and then so that's the main riff. There's a little guitar solo over this. I'm not going to cover that, but we're just taking care of Dave Matthews' actual parts that he's playing, and he would play live. So we have that here. So that builds from there. That's the verse as the vocals come in. Then it builds to the chorus like this. All right, so what's going on there? Well, we came out of that main riff. So just kind of strumming on one note here, the 4th fret there on the low. Kind of building up to the chorus with the rest of the band. And then you're gonna grab the 6th fret on the D and the G string together. Then jump up here and play the 6th fret on the D again, but this time, the 8th fret on the G. It's a little power chord. From there, you're going to reach back and grab this chord, which is similar, same frets that we did earlier to start that main riff, but move everything down 1 string. And you have to hold them all down together now, because he strums those 3 strings. Now, you're going to want to mute any strings that you're not playing. So how you're going to do that is all with your 1st finger. You notice how the 1st finger is slightly going past the A string here. and I'm touching the bottom of the low E. So when you're strumming, I can hit that low E and you can't hear it, it mutes it. Now I'm also using the bottom half, the side of my index finger, to mute the B and the high E string. So I can strum all 6 strings. You're not aiming for all 6 strings, you aim for those 3, but just in case you miss, you're not gonna sound horrible. Alright, so now we need this next chord in the chorus. You basically take that first finger, keep these 2 fingers here, take that first finger and move it over to the 6th fret on the low E. Once again, it's muting the string underneath it. So we're playing the 6th fret on the low E, but that bottom of the fingertip there on the with the index finger is muting the A string, so you don't hear that. And then we're gonna have those same 2 notes on the D and the G. All right, and then you can just take this note over to the 6th fret on the A string for the last chord in the chorus. And there's those 3 strings that are side by side again, and once again you're gonna use the tip of your index finger to mute the low E string. So all together. Again. So I did some stopping there just so you can kind of see the chorus, but the actual chorus doesn't stop. It just looks like this. So I went back and grabbed that note and just went right into those little dyads there. All right, now we go back into that main riff. Now there's a little bridge section that happens twice in the song. Now he leaves that, he goes into that bridge section at that little stopping point in the riff, and he adds this little tail to it. And then there's a little bit of a instrumentation in the band, and then they go into the bridge. Alright, so what's going on there? So we're straight out of this riff. And from there, you're going to basically play, at that stopping point, you're going to play 6-8 on the low E, then 4-6-8 on the A, and stop. So 6-8 on the low E, then 4-6-8. I know, lots of big stretches in this song. Alright, and now we're to the bridge, which was basic chords now. You're just going to play a G, just a G sharp major bar chord here. So basically, you can look at it as an A flat major bar chord actually. It's just a standard bar chord shape at the 4th fret, full bar, 6th fret on the A, 6th fret on the D, 5th fret on the G. Then we're going to take it to a C minor chord, which is the exact same chord shape. Move everything down 1 string, same bar chord, and then move it back 1 fret. So it's just 5 strings now, so we have this. Alright, now we're going to move it up to the 4th fret, 1 fret up off the A string as well. This time you don't have to play the full chord, it's just the power chord version of it. 4th fret on the A string, 6th on the D, and 6th on the G string. Now sometimes you'll do a full bar and get that 6th fret on the B string as well, so watch out for that. He stops there and then comes down and hits the power chord at the 6th fret on the low E string. So it's the same shape he did here. This over up to the 6th fret on the low E, and start over. Alright, so that's about it. That bridge section is by far the most basic part. And the other ones, it's really good coordination exercises for the fingers, that main riff, and then those chords really require you to do some big stretches. So it's a good exercise. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.